We are talking today with Claude Duvall, and you are a candidate for the District 2 County Commission seat.
That's correct.
And we certainly appreciate you talking to us today. Thank you very much.
Thanks for coming.
Can you tell us what made you decide to run?
Frustration. Sheer frustration with the decisions that's being made and the way that the people who do go down before the commission and complain how they're treated. I think that they're very one-sided. If you're not in the room, you're not in the picture. They don't think of those of us who are having to work, or the people that are out with the kids at the ballpark who can't come to the meetings. They tend to forget the average person. And I've been frustrated for quite some time. And this year, also people in my store come in and they complain. I tell them, if you want to change government, you need to let them know what you don't like. You need to go down and stand in front of them and tell them you don't like their decisions, because they make decisions and people don't show up and they think they made the correct decision. But if they don't know, they need that feedback. And since they don't get the feedback, they tend to cater to the special interest, I think. If you fill up the room, you'll get something done.
Well, now, just to touch on that a little bit, and this is an issue that every candidate's mentioned, the purchase of the Pullen property, and the room was full, to some extent full up during that process, and people were very upset. As you know, they bought a $3 million piece of property on Highway 87.
I do.
That had been appraised at $900,000. What's your take on that? How would you have handled that, or how do you think they should have handled it?
They shouldn't have bought it. As a matter of fact, I sent them an email afterwards, and I got the standard response, "You're not here, you don't understand." And I said, "I understand a lot. You must think I have stupid stamped on my forehead. It's not something that we need. We have, I've been told, well, I know there's several hundred acres in the existing park that's not been used or developed. It has water, sewer, and electricity. The piece they bought is woods. It doesn't even have highway frontage. You know, it made no sense to me. Whether it's worth it or not, I don't know. But I've been told that it's not. It's not something. It's not somewhere I'd spend the taxpayers' money. It's ridiculous."
Now, as a business person, what kind of challenges do you see are sort of the main issues right now? What would you be looking at down the road as something you'd have to address as county commissioner?
The budget shortfalls that I'm sure that we're going to have. I've looked at the budget a lot, and over the last few years, you know, we've gone from 33, 34 million. They jumped up to 43 to 45 million. They spent every bit of it. You know, I don't understand that. It was a windfall, and now the windfall is gone, and they're trying to get us to fund them at the same levels prior to the hurricane. And it's not a matter of how much government the government thinks that we need. It's how much government can we afford, and we can't afford it. You know, there has to be a little more sense made at the county level. I don't think that they work very much on their budget. I think they need to go back to zero-based budgeting. They look at the various departments. I know the last time that they had a budget meeting, I made an inquiry to one of the commissioners if they had cut anything on the budget, and he said no, they cut nothing. And I said, well, you know, I worked in a large corporation, and my boss came to me and said, you need to cut the budget 5%. It was cut 5%. And he said they just couldn't get that done. I wonder why.
Any room for improvement there, right off the bat, that you see?
Sure. I mean, there's always room for improvement. I'm not saying that you're going to have to go start cutting people. The last thing we need is more people on the unemployment line. But I think there's a lot of things that they can do. I know that the last big job that I had, you know, we had someone who went through every office and every building, and we had a can't buy list for office supplies, anything to cut cost. You know, we combined phone lines. We did everything that we could do to not have to cut people, but to cut cost out of the system. And I don't know how much cooperation there is between departments, but I'm sure there's a lot of things that we could improve. A lot. There's always a lot of waste, no matter whether it's in any organization or in the government. But the government is not like a business. You know, a lot of people say that we need more business people. It needs to be run like a business to a certain extent, but the government's really a service.
We've had the oil disaster hit us now. It wasn't as bad as we thought it would be. Down the road, we know economic development's an ongoing issue. I mean, how would you address it? Do you have any specific ideas or plans to improve the economy in this area?
Well, we certainly need more growth because we need more people to help share the tax burden that we have. But we need controlled growth, and we need to bring jobs that pay better money. We don't need minimum wage or lower wage. I think that Alabama has really kicked us. They go ahead and they've committed to spend the money, and they get the better jobs. You know, the Ace Hardware Distribution Center is a good example. It's over in Alabama, and that should have been here. It really upset me when we didn't get that, and I told several of them that. But we need to be willing. You got to spend money to make money. That's just the way it is, and that's what this is all about. It's all about the money, no matter what you're doing. I mean, I don't work for fun. You know, I always say it's the curse of the poor. I have to work, but we need to do a better job of bringing more, better job to the county that pay more money, and I don't think we've done that. I think we've catered. I mean, I see people come and go in the park. 84 lumber. You know, how much did that cost us? You know, we throw a lot of money, not enough, obviously, to the right people. We need to get bigger corporations in here with better paying jobs.
What's your take on how economic development is currently handled by Santa Rosa County?
You don't have an easier question?
Well, we have specifically Team Santa Rosa.
Yeah, Team Santa Rosa. Well, I have a problem with someone who's in charge of economic development who sends out an email to hide a job when it's their job to create jobs. I think they spend far too much money on agriculture. I'm not against the farmer, don't get me wrong, but I think that farming or agriculture doesn't bring very many jobs at all. You know, the farmers today are very, very efficient, and they get a lot of subsidies. But
well, there's actually minutes from their meetings where they've said that it's not something that brings in jobs. It's
right.
But they're still.
But I think if you check their budget, 30–40% of it is spent on that. You know,
yeah.
Let's spend it on manufacturing or whatever. Let's put the money where we get the greatest rate of return.
Do you feel like they should be brought under the county? Some people have suggested that. I mean, are they doing an adequate job? Is there room for?
There's a lot of room for improvement. Team Santa Rosa helped me a lot when I built a car wash in the store. They were very helpful. I was in an enterprise zone with both locations. They helped me get some tax refunds. So they do perform a good function, although those enterprise zones are now gone. But I think that the county needs to have a better control of what they do and how they spend their monies.
And bringing in outside industry. I mean, is that from a business perspective? Do we need to hustle a little more? I mean, do we need to start cold calling?
Sure, we need to do anything we can to bring more. Because one thing this oil spill has done is it's created, anytime there's less money spent in the county, the less dollars that turn over, it affects us all. No matter if we live on the beach or live in J. If there's less dollars moving around, there's less dollars for any of us to see. So we need to do any and everything that we can. Cold calling, I know they spend a good bit of money on advertising, but I don't know how effective it is.